Welcome back for those of you that have joined us previously, and welcome to you all that are new to our Alliance meeting. This meeting today, we're going to, first of all, I welcome everyone and hope everyone's having a great day. We're going to get into the history of 100 Families Restore Hope, how we started, and talk about some future things that are coming up. Get excited about our launch that we will finally have an official launch of 100 Families. We're going to hear some data from Karen, who is the director of 100 Families in all of our counties. And then we're going to get into our panel discussion. First of all, again, thank you guys for joining us. I want to introduce to you our speakers today. We have some amazing people here. Russell, over here to my right, your left, I guess, depending on how you're looking. We have Kyle here, and we have Nicole. Some amazing people. They're going to share with you some interesting information. They're going to share with you basically the resources and the things that we have put together with Restore Hope and 100 Families, how beneficial it is to use Hope Ark, how agencies have come together and help families move from crisis to thriving to career. And just think, basically talk about how beneficial it would have been had the resources been available some years ago. Um, I want Paul to kind of move over to the camera now and talk about a little history and the future of 100 families. So he's gonna. Can you sit here with me, or not sit with me, but he's gonna move into my space and talk to you guys.
Hi, well, thanks everyone for being here. I'm Paul Chapman. I direct an organization called Restore Hope, and we've been doing these 100 Families initiatives in several different parts of the state. And we just completed, about a week ago, we completed 2 years of 100 Families in the first county that it was launched in. That's Sebastian County in Fort Smith metro area. And so we analyzed the data there, and in 2 years, that alliance, this group of organizations that came together, um, helped many hundreds, over 500 families. They helped, and I want to tell you the most amazing outcome that we looked at was is that one is that 1,000 children were able to stay with their families. So they were at risk of being taken into foster care. They were in a shelter. They had a protective services case, but 1,000 children were not removed. They were able to stay with their parents. And number two, for those children of our clients who were taken into foster care, the reunification rate for those families was 85% over that 2 years. Now, that is, without assistance, it's about 42%. So that team that had DCFS and judges and law enforcement and substance abuse professionals and housing professionals and it was the community, the alliance there, they came together and they doubled the reunification rate. And so imagine that if you're out and you're trying to talk to someone who's maybe at the lowest point in their life, and they've got a child welfare case and they've got a lot of other stuff going on, and you could say, you know, if you work with this group and you do the next right thing, you're probably going to get your kids back. Um, the motivation and the hope that that would produce in an individual. So anyway, I wanted to come and tell y'all here as you're thinking about launching this alliance here in a month in Pulaski County and the work that's already going on, it works. We're tracking data, we're working together, and all of that leads to better outcomes for our clients, and it leads to the type of community that we all want to live in. And so thanks for your time and your dedication. I can't wait. I actually live here in Pulaski County, so it's good to bring it on back to the hometown. Look forward to working with you all here. And Shauna, are we good?
Yes,
Go team.
yes, yes. Thank you, Paul. So we have data that Karen, are you here with us?
I am.
Okay, Karen is our director of the 100 Families. Karen, just kind of give us a little history of, your position here with Restore Hope and 100 Families, and then can you share the data that we have so far?
Absolutely. So yes, I was had the privilege of working the 100 Families program in Sebastian County at its very beginning, where we just had this vision to help families stay together. And what could we do if we worked, you know, as a team collaboratively, but also even way upstream to try to stop those children from ever entering these crises and the trauma that's involved by separation from family, and separating those ties over and over again. And we know that substance abuse is a major reason for removal of children, and so this topic today is extremely important to helping children and families. So I work for Restore Hope, and Restore Hope had the vision to really try to reduce the number of children in foster care and reduce incarceration, which are very related, as we all know and have found. So this is our mission. Restore Hope's mission is to reduce foster care and incarceration, and we do that through the collective impact model, which is why you all are here and important. And we use this contact, connection, career model that we would love to one-on-one visit with you about if you have not already done that. So we launched in Sebastian County, and then we launched in Crawford County, and we have launched in White County, and we are looking forward to launching in Pulaski. Can everyone see my screen okay? Okay. And right now, just pre-launch, the few months that we've worked up to this point, there, as of February 28th, we had 49 active families. And that's in addition to that, we also have several within the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office that are actually at jail. And so there were 10 new families entered into this program during the month of February. 137 children are in those families. And this is the exciting part, because we are already seeing good results in Pulaski County, and that's sometimes uncommon. Sometimes it takes a while to get that momentum going where we can actually see some good results. But I was really pleased to see this on the far left of your screen of each one of these assessment areas. And we do assess in 13 different areas. This is just 7 of those. You'll see the bright red, and that bright red means a family that represents the families that are in crisis. The blue, dark blue, represents those that are thriving. That purple color represents those that have been stabilized. So I want you to see at intake versus at outcome, kind of what has been going on with families here. So transportation has already seen improvement, and that's a really important part of what we do. We know that if you can't get to work, then you can't work. So transportation is important. The crisis has lowered from 37% in intake to, as of February 28th, only 21% of our families were in crisis in that area. And you can see that the stability has increased, and so has thriving, which means that they have an affordable and stable vehicle to get to work in, or a method of transportation. You can also see employment. So employment is extremely important to us, and it's it's very difficult to crack that because we have to take care of transportation and childcare and things like that, and recovery. Several things have to happen in order for someone to become stably employed. And so you can see that we have lowered the crisis, and that kind of maroon color has increased a great deal. And what that means is that when, on the employment scale, what it means is that they've obtained part-time employment. So they aren't quite there to a full-time job, but they are working, and so or have income from some source. And then you can see, food is another area where we lowered the crisis, increased the stability. One that was really exciting to me that we found this month is that we have had some good outcomes in housing. So you can see the stability, which means that that purple was at like 2% at intake. Those are the stabilized. Of course, there were 17% of the families that were thriving, but 27% at intake were homeless, and 54% were in this substandard kind of living condition. You can see that we have greatly increased the number of families that are living in safe, affordable housing through this initiative. So that's extremely exciting information that I wanted to share with you today. The primary provider right now is mainly Restore Hope, but we hope that that will change. So we hope that many of you will enroll families, see the benefit of working alongside other organizations in order to help a family move towards thriving. The child welfare case type, so in Pulaski, 60% of the families we serve do not have a child welfare case, but 40% do. And so we both work on preventing child welfare cases from happening by helping people that are in crisis, and then also working alongside DCFS on those that do have cases. The referral type has been really good. We have a good mix there of different organizations that are referring to the program. So good job, Shauna. I wanted to show you kind of the primary provider. You can see right here that it's primarily Restore Hope right now. Well, we would love to see a more healthy mix of different providers in the initiative. And that's organizations that, like I said, are enrolling families into 100 families so that they can receive collaborative care and so that they can continuously receive these kinds of updates on how families are progressing and be able to point that back out to the community. So that's the report for this month. Thank you, Shauna.
All right. Thank you, Karen. So as you guys can see, all of the work that you have done as an alliance, these are the results. These are the stats. This is the data. Those of you that have been trained on Hope Art, all of this data and information is available to you and your agency. We are asking for more agencies to come alongside of us and be involved in helping in the community using this system and helping families move from crisis to ultimately career. I don't know if Paul got a chance to talk about some of the things that we're bringing here um, to the 100 Families Alliance. I'll just kind of touch a little bit on it. Some of our families have already gotten registered, but we have a CDL school and class that's starting here in the spring, and that I think it's in April. I don't have those dates, but we can give more information out to you if you're interested. We have HVAC coming. We have a lot of exciting things for our families that are part of 100 Families. Also, those of you that are interested in referring families, make sure you send me an email, or you can post your information in the chat box. I will make sure I will send you a referral link so you can refer families. Those that are interested in training, make sure you reach out to me. I can get that training set up for you so you or your designated person at your agency can be trained to be a referral point of contact or connection for Hope Art. Now, without further ado, I would like to turn over to our panel. I'm going to start with Nicole. I'm going to let her introduce herself. I'm going to let her tell you where she works and who she's with, what organization she's with. And then I want you to just kind of tell us a little bit about, do you see the benefits of what we're doing as far as collaborating in this collective impact as agencies? And what are your thoughts on what we're doing with Hope Ark and 100 Families?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. Um, so about 5 years ago, a colleague of mine, we were talking about what it would look like to have an alliance like this, where you could send out referrals to people, or for people that were from a challenged background, coming from incarceration, prison. My experience, I worked. My career was 15 years within the Arkansas Department of Corrections, and we release offenders, and we just kind of send them out, and they don't exactly know where to go all the time when they're in crisis. So it's very humbling to know that this exists now, this platform where we can help these individuals when they're released, and help families that are, already out in crisis. Um, I think a big part of helping people is bridging that gap, especially when they're coming out of incarceration, from incarceration to the community. And with this platform and the alliance, the more people that join, the better the outcome is going to be for the success rate of releasing good neighbors and helping these people get back to sustaining their lives. Um, so I actually got to work on the 100 family launch at Pulaski County for a little bit. And with the female population, they're very excited because a lot of times when women are released, they have one or more children that are waiting on them. And they come out and they're kind of overwhelmed because they're like, oh my gosh, I have no job. I need money. I need transportation. I need housing. And I need to take care of my children.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before you didn't know where to turn. So we say call before you fall. But there's so many resources, great resources in Arkansas, but not everybody knew about all the resources. So, in joining this one alliance is wonderful because those resources, as the word spreads, we can find out more and more of the tools that will help these people be successful once released. So, I think what I would really like to see is every county come together and provide those resources on this platform. It's going to be a really big deal and a huge change in Arkansas.
That's great. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
All right, same thing, Kyle. Tell
Right.
us who you are, where you're from, and
Thank you, LaShanna
thank
and
you.
Paul, for having me. I am very honored and grateful to be here. I currently work with NAADAC, the Association for Addiction Professionals, overseeing and managing the peer support certification process in Arkansas, and I also work part-time in the emergency department at UAMS as a peer support specialist. That's a little bit about what I do today, but the reason this is important to me is because I'm actually a fruit of a village of people coming together to accomplish a common goal, which was to help me, like your mission is to get from crisis to career. So I have a career today that I've never had before. 4 years ago, I was homeless on the street after many years of drug and alcohol abuse, and got myself in some bad situations. And then, when I took that step towards recovery and towards doing something different, there are lots of different resources that kind of are really good at doing what they do. But if I'm just addressing one thing, one of my needs in my life, there's still it's a complex issue, so there's all kinds of pieces to the puzzle that need to be, they need to be addressed. They need to be resources in place. And so when you have a team working collaboratively together to accomplish a common goal, ultimately the individual is set up better for success. And that's what happened to me. And that's why this is important to me because, anything from being able to go to the dentist, to getting insurance, to getting my substance use addressed, my mental health addressed, to getting a career, learning about finances, all the different things, living life. I hadn't really been taught how to do those things and wasn't really doing those things up to that point in my life. And so I had a lot of people, a lot of different organizations and agencies come together through the Union Rescue Mission and help me to get to where I'm at today. And so I know that there are a lot of people just like me that have found themselves in that vicious cycle of addiction. And when they make that turn towards a different way, we need as a community and as a state to come around them together, to help them get from crisis to career. And so, I would like to see everybody get behind this and work together. Because I know we maybe have different methods of doing things. We may even have different individual mission statements, but our ultimate goal has to be to help other people, further their life and get to where they're trying to go. And when we can come together, rally around that mission, I think our whole state and our community is better for it. So that's why I think this is important, because it's absolutely, it's why I'm here, things like this.
Good. Thank you so much, Kyle. Russell,
I just
who are
noticed
you?
something. I always have to follow him behind Kyle.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is like the third time.
Did you have to follow him?
Yeah. Uh, my name's Russell Boyd. I'm a peer support specialist. Is it that camera? at
You're good. Yeah, I think so.
at Restore Hope slash Hidden Creek. I work with men coming out of ADC, trying to get them reacclimated back into society. Um, it's an honor and a blessing for me to be here, especially to speak with the Alliance. It's a because I was in prison. I got out of prison, and the only thing that I had was a $75 check.
Mm,
Um, and that month I got out. That next month, I got to pay $35 for my parole fees. So that whole check was gone.
mm-hmm.
That was the only resources I got was that $75 check. Um, so the hard part is done with the Alliance. I mean, you guys coming together.
Yeah.
Um, we just need to do the work now. But yeah, like I said, I didn't have no resources coming out. I just was like determined, um, sick and tired of being sick and tired doing the same things. And I toughed it out on my own, figured it out on my own. It was rough, like real rough.
And you
I
made
got
it.
enrolled in college the first week I was out. Um, I think that next month I got involved in peer support specialist, and I went and took the training, um, went to the conference. Um, but I had to figure all that out by myself. Like
Mm.
there was no help.
So, do you see a huge benefit for what we're doing where agencies come together to provide resources for families that are in crisis? Maybe, with all the resources that are available, like you said,
I think
you,
it's limitless. I think we don't even know what can happen. I know we could change lives with
right.
probably just a phone call. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
give such and such a chance. Give them a job, or can you waive the fees of admission to treatment until he gets a job or something. It could be just a one simple act of kindness that changed somebody's life forever. And this alliance coming together, it's a beautiful thing. Um, and I know God's working,
Mm-hmm.
and if we just plant the seeds and just be kind, um, there's no telling what'll happen. It might change the whole state. Because everybody looks to Little Rock um, for hope, guidance. We got the capital right here.
Right.
So
And like Kyle was saying, I mean, if everybody's doing wonderful things, we have a lot of agencies, we have a lot of resources in Pulaski County, and everyone's doing great work. However, with Hope Ark and the system where everyone is able to communicate as a conglomerate group of people to collectively impact lives, we can do some awesome work together. And that's the benefit of having this alliance and having a tool and a system where agencies can communicate. They can onboard families, they can follow the progress. They can, as you saw the data, it works. It's worked in other counties and it can work here in Pulaski County. Um, Also, I don't want to um, miss anyone that's already a part of the alliance. I want to, or a part of Hope Ark, and that's utilizing the system. I thank you all. You have done great work. You have onboarded clients. We have moved families. You've seen what we've done in a short period of time. We started onboarding clients in October. These families have moved progressively because of your help, because of your work and working together to do this. So we have a long way to go and we have a lot of training to do. So agencies need to get on board so that you can be the community. It's for the community, by the community. That's our motto, for the community, by the community. Doing the work that you're doing, but doing it together, communicating with one another. And all it is it's a collaborative effort. We are collectively impacting and we are basically helping families move, but we're not, once we send them to the resources that are available, our hands aren't off of them because we're still connected to them via the message board. And if you see the system and see what I'm talking about, you'll understand the impact of the system that we're using. But we're getting them jobs, education, housing, food, just all the necessary resources because it can become overwhelming. And then we have case management. We have those that are following and helping. So um, if y'all have questions, one of the things I wanted to say, we have our chat box. I don't know if we can hear if they have questions. So if you have a question and you would like to address a question, please call. We can do it one at a time. You can unmute. Okay, take yourself off mute if you have a question for me or our panel, Paul or Karen.
Okay, I have
We
a
are
question.
launching. Let me say this because, okay, so, and I'm different than my other sisters in other counties that are coordinators. We're having a party in Pulaski. Yeah, so it's kind of different. On April 13th at 11:30 at War Memorial Stadium, we're going to have food trucks, music, and all that. That's going to be our official launch. Nobody can stop us because we had a couple of dates set, but we've had some hiccups and stuff and cancellations. We are launching in Pulaski County April 13th at War Memorial Stadium. It's going to be a party, y'all. So come out, invite your agencies, invite your friends. We'll have food trucks, music, and announcements. And we are signing a declaration of participation. You don't want to miss it because you need your name on this declaration. And it's just a promise of what you will do and how you will help families in Pulaski County. April 13th, I will be sending out electronic invites and stuff like that. So I'll get that done this week. Questions?
I have
Go
one.
ahead, Mr. Sanders. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Adrian Sanders. I'm a juvenile probation officer with Pulaski County Juvenile Court.
Hey,
And
Adrian.
a lot of the team is definitely on and eager to start working with you all. The ideal of 100 families was brought forth to us by our newly elected judges, Judge
Mhm.
Beard and Judge Johnson. And so we definitely want to know how we can access your services to help us move our families and through this system. But of course, we are introduced to these families through like delinquency court or juvenile court. And so I guess the question that I have is that if we have a family that we feel like could benefit from being involved with 100 families, how do we first make the referral and open up a good line of communication? And my second question, is there a pool of resources that you all use to connect these families with? And once that is, and if y'all do have that pool of resources, how are the families assessed for specific needs for the referrals or the resources that you all use?
Great question, Adrian. So back to the referral, that first question, email me. I have an electronic referral form that's filled out. It's very easy, maybe 4 or 5 questions on there, but it's an electronic form that I email you. Once you fill that form out, it automatically comes to my email or the 100 Families email, and a case manager contacts that client. You would first have to let them know that we're going to call because we don't want to call and they'll be like, this is who? So you would let them know that they will receive a call from a case manager from 100 Families, and then we will call them. And it's like same day or no later than the next day when we contact them.
Okay.
So just shoot me an email, Adrian, and say, send me that form. Send me
Okay.
that referral form. Number
Okay.
2, so yes, we assess clients on a 13 crisis basis assessment form. When we do that assessment, that tells us where the area of need is based on that assessment. And they're assessed in those 13 areas. It may be from food, transportation, housing, whatever those needs are. And then I have met with different agencies. So I have like point of contacts at different agencies in those areas of crisis. So basically, instead of us just sending them to that agency, we have a connection, or I have a relationship with that agency, and based in that system, in the Hope Ark system, we can add them to the case plan, and they know that that client is coming to them, or we're sending them for referral, and they basically take it from there.
So if we send you all a referral, and of course, our reference point will be the kid that got referred to juvenile court, but you all assess the needs of the complete family.
Yes.
Is that my understanding? Okay.
Yes.
If our courts have recommendations that they already have in place for these families, will you all be able to follow those recommendations that have already been set forth?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
that is just based on communication, letting us
Okay.
know what those references are, what you.
Okay. And will the case manager be our point person of contact in the event we make that referral?
Yes. And once
Okay.
you are trained, Adrian, because I know we're just waiting on a date to come and do the training. We do a virtual
Okay.
training. And once you're trained on the system, you can follow all of the notes and whatever the case manager has done. They will add you to that case plan, so you can basically see what's going on with that client or with that
Okay.
family.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to training you all and meeting, and good to
Listen.
put a face with a name and a
Thanks.
voice.
Same here.
What is this?
Here, can y'all hear Paul?
No.
Okay.
Just explain that. I was just
Okay,
giving
so-
Adrian the picture.
So Adrian, this is basically this is a test client, and
Okay.
you see the
Wait.
pictures at the top, the hectagons and all that. Now, this isn't a typical client. There may be.
I don't think
hold
we're
on.
seeing it. I'm
Okay,
not anyway.
Sorry.
There it is.
Oh, you see it? Okay,
Yeah, I do.
so this is just an example of what a case team or a client's team would look like. So all of those pictures on there, those are agencies that have been added to the case plan. So if you have someone that you want added to a child's case or a family's case, they'll be added to the case plan, and they'll be able to see all of the information and the assessments and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know that they could see the screen, but
Well, they can't see it.
Stacy can and Tamara can. So yeah, I guess it's just me.
Oh,
No, it's good.
okay. Well, Paul is still learning, so
Hey, I would like to ask Russell and Kyle a question about how their addictions and affected their families, and how they were able to reconcile with their families again.
Russell, you want to go first since you won't have to follow Kyle.
Yeah. Let me go first.
Russell's going first.
So reconcile with my family. I guess family never just fully gives up on you. So, moms always have that little glimmer of hope. He's gonna get it right this time. He's always gonna get it right or whatever. But it's just me every day doing the next right thing. And within time, I guess wounds will heal with my family. That's what worked for me. Doing the right thing.
Good.
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. I will have to say that my addiction absolutely impacted every single area of my life, including my family. And they had to go through a process just as much as I had to go through a process to get to where I'm at. And so when it was all said and done, July 10th, 2017, my family had cut me off for a few years at this point. And in that process, my mom learned about Al-Anon and the type of resources that are available to her and to the family, and kind of learning their part in the process. And so it destroyed our relationships because of the way that I was living and treating them. And then the process of recovery, because of the resources that were in place, they provide a space for us to start slowly reconciling those relationships. Definitely didn't happen overnight. I was in a program for a year time, receiving extensive resources, extensive different types of treatment, and just places to get my own healing. But in that process, I was also able to have some conversations with my family, and we were able to start working on some amends and me taking some responsibility and those types of things that recovery brings to the table. And today, it's really a miracle and a gift from God that my parents, my family want me around. They want me to be a part of their lives. They actually invite me over. My dad's let me drive his vehicle, which was, I was shocked the first time he did it. I was crying. It was such a big deal. But so it's been reconciled and restored. There's definitely, healthy boundaries in place, but all of those things are different techniques and tools that I learned through the process of recovery, which is a result of the various resources that were in place in the program that I went through.
Thank you, guys. Great question, Karen.
Oh, I'm full of them. If you want me to keep going, I'll give other people a chance.
Oh, let me say this too. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat if you don't want to take yourself off mute or whatever. If you have a question, put it in the chat. Also, if you all would, please put your information in the chat, your email address and your contact information and what agency you are with. I would love to reach out to you. So if you could put that information in the chat. Do you have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay. Sarah
Hey,
Ann.
it's Sarah Ann. Hey. Hey, everybody. I miss y'all. I was wondering, you were talking about recovery, and those are things I've learned about, but where did your mom get connected to Al-Anon, and where's the good place for people to do that? Get connected to a program like that.
Yeah, well, I would say, my mom went through that journey herself. And so I believe where she got connected was a local church in Saline County was offering a program. And I'm sure she found out about that through Al-Anon's website. I believe it's alanon.org. But as far as, her process in that, that was kind of her thing that she had to go through herself and discover those resources. But on the topic, what if that was a resource that was here? Because you have an individual that's struggling with substance use, and we know there's resources that need to address what they're doing, what they got going on. But there's a family that person represents that if these other issues aren't, addressed simultaneously, there's a good chance that somewhere along the way, there's going to be some more issues. And so having, Al-Anon resources available for family members, there's concerned persons types of meetings. There's various different brands or options as far as resources for family members of people struggling with substance use.
Thank you.
There's a question in the chat. Okay, Paul, what does it say?
It says, yes, recently released from KDC, up there Brewer in Jericho Way with mostly nothing. Would you be able to could Jericho Way refer folks into the 100?
Yes, absolutely. So any agency can refer a family. Now, let me say this, 100 families, we are funded through TANF. So they would have to have a child 18. You can have not a custodial or non-custodial child 18 or younger. So that is the only thing that we require, that if there's a parent that has a child 18 or younger. And if you want that form, that referral form, just email me and I can shoot you the referral form, fill it out, and we can get on it and get them onboarded. Great question. Another question from anyone on the video? Or did we miss a question in the chat?
I did see that Abby made a comment. It wasn't a question. I just wanted to acknowledge that and say thank you, Abby, for your kind words.
Thank you, Abby.
Abby's gonna have me ugly crying.
So it's 1:40. We don't have any more questions? This is a quick Alliance meeting. I'm excited about
One
our
question.
launch. I should say that. Oh, okay, Adrienne.
How long does the individual trainings usually take when you go around to say, for instance, if you were to come to Pulaski County Juvenile Court, how long would the training take for our staff here?
Okay, so we have two separate trainings. We have a point of contact training, and basically the point of contact training is the training that is the longest. It's like 3 to 3.5. Is that right, Sarah?
About
Okay,
About 4 hours.
about four,
Yeah.
3 to 3.5. Now, the point of contact is where that agency will actually do the case management. They'll onboard the client into the Hope Ark system, and they will do the case management follow up and all of that. Now, the connection training is about half of that time. And the connection training is the agency is trained on Hope Ark, and they're basically just what it is, a referral, and they can follow and be a part of the care team, but they basically don't do all of the case management with the client.
Yeah,
So
just to kind of clarify that too, it's so like a connection team member would be someone who doesn't provide holistic support to
Mhm.
a case or to a family. Maybe they only do housing, or they only do food help, or they only, they concentrate on one area. So they only do legal help, something like that. So we need to be able to connect with those organizations that do that, because y'all, the community has the resources. Why would we become experts in every area when we need those people that are experts on the team with the for that specific client? And so we would want you just to come on board and be part of the team for that client and bring your expertise to help them. And so that's a connection training. Yes.
yes,
So if
thank
I
you,
understand
Ken.
correctly, that means each individual officer here will be part of the connection training. Because
Yes.
in the referral to you all, we would definitely want to be a part of whatever the case plan is and
Mhm.
whatever's happening
Yes.
with the
Yeah.
whatever.
Correct. And
I
now,
got you.
Karen, is it also is if they do the connection training, but then they decide they want to do a point contact, can they do that?
Absolutely. So, a lot of times, there are organizations that hire people, hire case managers. So you might have a program that we want to do more. That maybe you do more intense help. So you want to help with multiple areas of their lives. You're not concentrating just on one thing, but you really want to make a difference holistically for them. Then you can go ahead and decide to be their point of contact, which they still will receive the support from 100 families. And so you would just add Shauna to your team, and then you would add other case managers, and maybe you would add each other to the care team, is what we call it. So and then so you would have the resources and the ability to connect with a lot of different organizations to help that family. Because what the declaration says, and what you will agree to whenever you sign that declaration, is that none of us can solve all these issues all by ourselves. And we all know that. If you've tried before to solve every issue for every family in need, then you know that you can't. And so that's why we come alongside each other. And so we hope that there'll be more organizations that say, yes, we do some of this kind of case management, but we don't have a way of really tracking their outcomes across all these different sectors. We know we're helping, but we don't know how much. We don't know, what our true outcomes are. And so we would love for you to join us and let us be part of your team, and help support your clients, and so they can have better outcomes. Did I answer everyone's questions about that?
Yes. Thank you, Karen. So I have another question from the chat. This is for Russell and Kyle. What personal work did you have to do to get to the point to where you were able to help others? Who wants to go first? You want to go first again? Russell
uh,
will go first because he doesn't want to follow Kyle.
so one of the major things that I had to do, um, I had to go get some counseling to understand trauma. I really didn't have no trauma. I just didn't understand. The only trauma understood was mine and what I went through. Um, and that's gang violence, prison violence,
Mhm.
that type of trauma. So if you didn't have that kind of trauma, I wasn't making that connection
Right.
with that person. So I had to go to counseling to understand that trauma is trauma.
Hmm.
You know, whether some person didn't make the swim team or you went to prison multiple times,
Right.
you know, trauma is trauma. So I would say counseling.
Counseling.
Yeah, and so what personal work did I have to do to get to the point where I could help other people? I definitely had to get stable because my life was completely unmanageable when this journey began not too long ago, and so I had to address a lot of different areas of my life that were out of control. And for lack of better words, I just didn't know how to live, and so I had to figure out how to live myself, and that was
Mm.
done through a collective effort of a lot of people. But then when I got stable, I also needed people in that process because there were personal steps. But if I didn't have people that believed in me and came alongside me and opened up certain doors for me, I could have worked as hard as I wanted to, but I could have maybe never made it to where I'm at today. I definitely am not here by myself. So the things I definitely have to do on a daily basis is pursue a relationship with God. I got to say that first and foremost. But then to surround myself with people that care about me and that have my best interests in mind, continue to practice the tools of recovery that I learned in the program, continue to stay plugged into the community. And, one thing, as I focus on one thing each day at a time, doors start opening. I participated in the training that Russell referred to earlier for peer support. That's through the state of Arkansas. And I started getting some tools that equip myself to go back into the flames of addiction. Jimmy McGill likes to say we take buckets of waters back into the flames that we came out of. And we learned how to do that in a way that is based off of equality and mutuality. And so the personal work is something that I'm still doing. I still got to do these things each and every day. And there's still those same people, the places that and the relationships I established along this journey, they're still a part of my life. And the miracle about it is how they met me in different moments of my life and helped me get to where I'm at. Now I'm able to turn around and help whatever they got going on and contribute in that manner. So when you pull up one of these screens of a client, as you say, that that individual, it needs our help, it needs the community's help. But what's going to happen though is when we work together, that person not too long down the road is going to turn around and be in these meetings, and they're going to be helping someone else. And so it's just a ripple effect that of things that will happen when the community comes together and we all have the same goal in mind. So yeah, thanks for asking that question.
Yeah. And so
That's
what are
right.
you as an
Testify, young
alliance?
man. Testify.
What you as an alliance, being a part of 100 families and using Hope Ark system, it's a collaborative impact. It's a collective impact that is actually making a collaborative effort to have a continuum of care for families. And that's what you guys are doing, being a part of this. We have another question for Nicole. Nicole, what would you say are the top 3 needs for a person to be successful, men or women, re-entering their community from incarceration?
Definitely mentorship, community support, and someone to help carry the baggage along the way until they can carry it themselves. It's a holistic approach, really. To limit to 3, I wouldn't know what the 3 best answers were, except for definitely a mentor that's a positive mentor in their life,
Mm-hmm.
and someone to help them kind of maneuver through the barriers, because there's a lot of barriers. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. And so I think that as a community, we need to engage this population and help them out. Time served, their time's done, and I think that the punishment's over, and it's time to reach out as a community and help them. And I think we'll see a increase of better neighbors and less crimes, less victims.
Mm, love that.
There's a clarifying question for did you each participate in?
You want me to go first?
Hey, go ahead.
So I didn't have any specific programs as far as out here. I spent majority of time incarcerated, but I did take advantage of some of the programs they had down there, which is the PALS program, Think Legacy, um, and Narcotics Anonymous. I started going to that because you could get free coffee there. So I go to the meetings and I'd be drinking free coffee. I'd be, man, this makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, started looking at my life over free coffee.
Yeah. Because of
But
the free coffee.
yeah, majority of my program took place while I was incarcerated in prison. I didn't take no program out here. So
I kind of walked through a little bit, real summarize it real short. So I got dropped off at a homeless shelter called the Nehemiah House. They then called an ambulance to pick me up because I was out there. They took me to Baptist where I got detox. So those are two services. Then I went back to the Nehemiah House and entered into their 9-month faith-based recovery program. And in that program, I went through a plethora of classes while I'm getting connected to a local church at the same time. So the conquering chemical dependency, the 12 steps of recovery, relapse prevention, anger management, individual counseling and sessions of like that, different, the word of God was all throughout that in different biblical faith-based curriculums that I went through. Celebrate Recovery was the 12-step program that I got involved in. Also serving in the local church, like Russell, I got involved in Narcotics Anonymous, various different 12-step fellowship recovery meetings. And then I got plugged into the peer support, which is, there's 12-step recovery, but there's so many other pathways to recovery that are available for individuals. And so I've learned about those and had the opportunity to get connected to those as well. And so there's definitely been a lot of different resources that I've been able to tap into to get to where I'm at today.
Hard finding employment?
For me, so like I said, I was in a program for a year. So I had a lot of time where I didn't work. I was in the program. They were teaching me life skills. And once I graduated the program, they let me stay in their work program for another 3 months where I was an intern. So just staying there with them, and because I just wasn't ready to go. Once I felt the peace to leave, actually a church offered me an opportunity to come to school and live, on campus there. And so they ended up hiring me. And so my employment it was a result of the community, so it wasn't that I went actively seeking employment. I know many people that is a huge barrier because of the past. A lot of people, it will define what's going on today. But for me, it was the community and the relationships that I established throughout the program that kind of made that process a little bit simpler for me.
What about you, Russell?
yeah, I can't remember how I stumbled across Joe at City Connections. I think it was at church, but I did. I think some guy was like, "Hey man, you need a job? She can get you a job." So I went over there and I tapped on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey, can you give me a job?" She's like, "Yeah, come see me Monday and fill all this paperwork out, and I'll get you a job." And it was that easy. But yeah, that's how I got my job.
Yeah. So with
Through
that
City
community and knowing people, being connected with people, because you were connected with Joe and he knew somebody, and
Yeah,
so basically it's a community effort.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a community
it's
effort.
certainly a huge barrier, though. I work with
Mm.
people, from substance use background and that are re-entering society and trying to turn their life around, and that is a big thing. That whether it's their criminal past and their record, or it's just maybe even appearance. There's all kinds of reasons that people won't give someone a chance. So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I always say just look through the job announcements and see how many say must pass background check, and you will immediately know that that everybody else that has a felony is saying nope, 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 nope. They know they aren't going to be able to. That 75% of the jobs that are posting are saying something about not being
Right.
not accepting their
That's here.
background.
which is a great thing about the Alliance and 100 Families, because we're connected to employers that offer, families with those backgrounds or someone with that background, they'll offer them an opportunity to come and work for them. So social capital. Yeah.
It's a lot of folks are looking for someone well, that's how folks probably have gotten a job at some point.
Right.
Knew so-and-so.
Right.
There is a question here around those that identify as LGBTQ. Let's deal with, don't speak English, but for those specifically LGBTQ individuals, finding residential shelter, so housing that's safe. I think our question is, about access for folks that may identify in this area. Do you know?
So we do have safe housing, safe shelters. Get with me. Who is that? I'm sorry. Christopher, email me and we
It's
can
me.
talk. But I can't see the,
Oh.
that's why Paul is reading it. I can't see the questions on the screen. But yes, we do have safe housing for LGBTQ. Just contact me, Christopher.
Yes, we definitely
Got
want
it.
to find like
Yes.
resources for that.
And we make
Got
sure
it. I will.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I love about this too. I want to say that real quick is that it's person centered. So
Mhm.
like that initial, assessment and get to, where they're at, what's going on, what they need, then you tailor whatever plan to that person. And so it's not a cookie cutter model that's going
Right.
to work for everybody. And that's why you need all the various resources and, the community organizations together, because what worked for this person may not work for this person,
Mhm.
but it's tailored to that individual, which is brilliant, because that's what's going to set someone up to succeed, is to address their specific needs.
Absolutely. This is good stuff, guys. Keep the questions coming. I think we have a little more time. We have 2 minutes. We have one final question. Anyone? If not, I want to once.
I don't have a question, but man, I know Russell Boyd and Kyle Brewer personally. Um, they are part of my community in recovery. And just knowing these guys, Russell has opened doors for me at the reentry program at jail. Kyle Brewer has opened doors for me at my current employment, which is discharge coordinator at Serenity Park Recovery. And so, yeah, I'm a testament, as both of those guys are, of how important the community is in moving your life forward, not just in getting over drugs and alcohol, but turning your whole life around, turning your family around. And like Kyle said, going back and helping people that are in that same pit that they can't get out of. So I just love you guys. And I just wanted to say that.
I love you too,
Love
Josh.
you too, Josh.
All right. Thank you all for joining us for the March Alliance meeting. Get ready for April. Invite your friends, invite your alliances, invite your network, your agencies. We are going to have a party on April 13th at War Memorial. And we are going to officially launch the 100 Families Alliance in Pulaski County. Thank you all again. Be blessed. Connect with me. Get your information to me. Get those referrals. Talk to you next month.